I want you to think back again to 2015. Although the district oversaw only a limited number of schools, when I first walked in, it reminded me of the old large organization with lots of central office employees, and it just reminded me of the pre-Katrina Orleans Parish School Board. In 2015, our budget process itself was opaque, difficult to understand, and we did not follow a student-based budgeting process. But today, 98% of the funds go directly to our schools, and we reformed the budget process, bringing new transparency to the process. We are continuing to be aggressively as we pay down our historical debt, with the goal of being debt-free, yes, the Orleans Parish School Board being debt-free at the close of 2021. We've reorganized our staff, breaking new ground as the first district in America exclusively focused on regulating nonprofit public charter schools. Although we've come a long way, we truly have a long way to go. We should not underestimate the challenges we face also. After years of growth, we've seen a plateau and a decline in our state school performance scores. State standards are going up. A school that once was a B 5 years ago would be a C or worse today. And that trend is continuing. In the coming years, the state exam will continue to get harder, and the state will continue to raise the bar for a school to earn an A letter grade. Regardless, this much we know. Too many of our children are not receiving the educational supports and services they need to succeed in school and in life. And I think that I can speak for everyone in this room today when I say that this is unacceptable. However, we won't solve our problems if we make excuses or if we point fingers. Instead, we must move forward with a sense of urgency and unity, and we need everyone here to hold us accountable for what matters most. For our part at the district, the first thing that you can hold us accountable for is having a competent, professional, transparent, and honest administration. This is the core responsibility of good government. The second thing you can hold us accountable for is taking the long view, leading the charge in support of our schools and our students. In this regard, two things are clear. One, no one benefits when kids start kindergarten behind. And the second thing this morning, the quality of our schools cannot exceed the quality of our teachers.
Maria Viswar, I think it is, asks, fourth world families living in poverty do not really have choices in their children being suspended, expelled, incarcerated. Added to that, schools closing. It takes a toll on these families to get quality education and good schools for their children. What is equity for them?
Yes, so as we think of equity in our district and our school board, we have adopted one of our goals is to ensure equity across our organization. And as we think of the example of just talking about even closing a school, that's something that is very, very difficult for us. And we know that if a school is failing, that we have to make a decision. But also being the authorizer of schools, so yes, we authorize schools to open and we regulate schools. But also there's a piece in the middle, and I spoke about that even with the example around curriculum, being able to support schools. So even though we are the regulator, we have to find ways to support schools because at the end of the day, we don't want to have to close school because as we ensure equity and talk about our most vulnerable students, we should not be sending them to other places. We should not be put in a place where we have to close school. Yes, that's very, very unfortunate, but we have to put things in place so that we can better serve our community.
A retired UTNO teacher, Lois Adissa Adams, asks, I noticed on NOLA.com that the state is considering reaching out to fired, highly qualified, and certified teachers. What will the Orleans Parish School District do as it relates to maintaining and retaining good teachers?
Yes, we have many of our teachers, even in our classroom today, have been employees of the Orleans Parish School Board pre-Katrina. and have helped us to move our schools forward for over the last decade. But we do know that there was a time in the state of Louisiana that many of our excellent teachers were able to retire and return back to work. But a law has changed where they're not allowed to do that. And what happens is many of our dedicated teachers who are still wanting to be in the classroom, if they come back to work, after they reach 25% of their retirement salary, their retirement check will stop and they just can receive their benefit from actually being a teacher again. And so yes, there's a lot of talk about actually being able to bring retired teachers back and have them the opportunity not to be penalized for coming back because they still have the energy in there to make sure that they can provide our students with a high quality education. And so even in our city today, we have many openings. I shared that we have a teacher shortage. So teachers who may have taught in the district before, many of them have applied to various charter schools and organizations and have come back to work in the district. But again, we need to make sure it's all hands on deck, and we are very dedicated to not only our current certified teachers, but also growing the next generation of teachers who are local New Orleanians. I had the opportunity to visit Angola, and every individual that I met, asked them where they were from, the answer was New Orleans. But this is what blew me away. They were incarcerated. Many of them were given life. They had others who may not have been given life, but they have a long sentence. But they were engaged in learning. Whether it was auto mechanic, something along the lines of engineering, repairing AC and refrigeration repairs. And this is my concern, because I talked to one young individual, and I just asked him, like, how you got here? And he attended one of our public schools, and he said, there was nothing there for me. There was nothing there for that young man in our public school, but there's something for him there in Angola. That's a problem. But if you think about it for a moment, and yes, someone may say, well, he doesn't have anywhere to go, what else he needs to do? No, they have a choice to show up to those trainings every single day, but they're engaged. And also, these individuals who are in this program, they are actually receiving the training because once they get out, they don't want them back in. And so our challenge today is to make sure that they don't get in. And the way to do that is, again, we're in the process of creating a career and technical center here in the city of New Orleans, where our students, in addition to going to their schools, can opt in to various programs.